Hi, and welcome to your Geology 101 lecture summer course. Just want to give you a quick layout of the land to get you started. So if we click on our course, switch to student mode. So this is what you will see whenever you log in. You'll always come to this. You'll see assignments that are down here, and those also get emailed to you, so you can kind of keep up with assignments and that type of thing. So of course, a good place to start is start here. So if we click on that, you'll see a welcome from me that you can read through, our overview here, the syllabus. So definitely download that, look over that, our course objectives. The textbook is here, so you do need Connect access, so you can get that directly through McGraw-Hill. That's the cheapest way to go about doing that. And we'll have more information here in just a second. But again, you do need that Connect access to get access to the ebook and to all your assignments. There's an eCampus tutorial if you're kind of new to eCampus. But then here's a short video you can watch about how to get access to Connect. Again, the cheapest way is to go directly through McGraw-Hill, but you can also get an access, purchase that through the bookstore as well. It's just a code that comes, but this quick little video goes through how to get all of that. The Respondents Lockdown browser, for all of the tests, you have an option of a traditional test that requires the lockdown browser, so it only lets you open the test, as well as it uses your webcam to record you. Again, just improves the integrity of the course. So that is required. So there's the download for that. And if you have a Mac, just make sure you kind of pay attention. There's a Mac version and a Windows. So that is required. But then I do also provide alternatives where you're doing like recording a presentation for PowerPoint. So you create a PowerPoint about some concepts and record yourself giving the presentation. So if you prefer that over testing, that's available as well. So just to kind of do a couple things. One, make sure you have Respondents Lockdown browser downloaded and working, and just to make sure you've looked over the syllabus. One of your first assignments is the syllabus quiz. If you ever click on the syllabus quiz and ask for a password, that means you're not in the lockdown browser. So the browser is something you use instead of like Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, something like that, Safari. So again, you download this browser, you open that browser to log in to eCampus, and if you access the quizzes or tests in it, then no password is asked for. And then the other thing for this week is doing the introduction. So if you click on the discussions, so you'll be the first, so you're going to click here and create a thread. And it'll tell you just need to introduce yourself, kind of where you're from, a little information about you, some of your hobbies, things that make you unique, that type of thing. Once you post that, then you also need to reply to at least 2 other students. So once you make your initial post, then you'll see what others, unless you're the first one, you'll see others that have posted. You can click on any of those and reply. Just make sure your replies are more than just like, oh, nice to meet you, or if we're talking about a concept, oh, I agree with you. It needs to show thought. You've kind of read it, you've thought about what they posted. So compare them like, oh, I'm also from West Virginia, or that's also my major, or I also have a sister, something to that effect. And then same thing with our other concept discussions, compare your answers. How are they different? Not just, oh, good job, or pointing out things, things that you liked about it. The idea is to promote discussion and further the discussion. So then if we click on week 1, so the first week's pretty intense. We have quite a few things to do. So again, the introduction discussion as well as the syllabus quiz, but then we have quite a few chapters that we cover. So even though it's only a 6-week course, we still cover all the same content. So it is, it is fast paced. So we're covering, most weeks we cover 3 chapters unless there's a test, and then it's only 2. So the first week, we have our first 3 chapters. For each chapter, there's a reading assignment. Those take about 45 minutes or so, depends. They do seem repetitive. That's their job. repetition is how we learn. So it's going to kind of ask the same question, either identical or just worded a little bit different a few times to help kind of drive home that concept. So that's based on some reading. And then at the end of each chapter, just to kind of conceptually check, there are self-checks. And those are about 40 multiple choice types of questions based on the information. You do have 2 attempts at those. So for the reading, it's participation. So even if you miss the questions, you still get full credit for completing all the concepts. The self-check, you have 2 attempts. So for those 40 questions, if you do it the first time and you miss 10, if you click on that assignment again, it'll show you the 10 questions you missed. So you can never do worse on an assignment, only better. And it only shows you questions that you missed. Now, it does not show you the answer that you put. So if you put the same answer, you're still going to get it wrong. But again, the idea is that you have 2 attempts to get all of those correct. So again, for each chapter, you have a reading assignment and kind of an end of the chapter self-check. So again, this first week, quite a bit going on. So that introduction, the syllabus, and then the reading and self-checks for those first 3 chapters. And then we also have 1 or 2 discussions each week, just to kind of help you interact with the other students, to kind of think about the application of some of the concepts we're talking about. So again, all of those are due by the end of the week. All right. And then, so that's kind of highlights it there. And then for each, because we have 3 chapters, each chapter has its own little folder. So you have your kind of learning objectives. And then if you click on the chapter, you have your table of contents. So the lecture notes, that's the PowerPoint that's available. There's again, the link to your reading assignment, the link to your self-check. And then often there are also multiple videos that are added that I think are helpful, that can help you better understand some of the concepts. So those are there as well. And then just going back, so then if you click on the other chapter folders, you'll see the same thing. It's links to the PowerPoints, any recorded lectures, any videos that are available. So again, everything's kind of organized into these folders. And then again, at least 1 discussion for each week, excuse me, as well. So again, if we click on another week, so we go to week 2, that'll be our first test. So again, there'll be 2 chapters covered. So chapters 4 and 5 covered. For each test, you'll also have a current event discussion that is due, again, just to help you kind of go out and find information happening that relates to what we're talking about in class. So you'll find an article, you'll post the link to it, a little summary about it, and how it relates to what we've been talking about. So again, quite a few things each week. So again, the reading assignments take about 45 minutes or so, give or take. The self-check, again, 40 multiple choice questions, depending on how, like if you haven't really read or looked over the PowerPoints or anything, it's going to take you a while to look up all the answers. If you kind of read and you're familiar with the information, it won't take quite as long. But again, for those reading or for those self-checks, I would allot at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. You can log in and out. You don't have to do it all at one time. So for each chapter, you're looking, roughly 2 hours or so per chapter. Again, more or less depending on how much you're having to look up. So just to kind of help you think about your time and how to manage that appropriately. And as you do a couple, you'll kind of get more in sync with how the course is laid out and how much time is required. But again, I definitely encourage you to do some every day. Don't try to do everything in one day. But again, spread it out. Otherwise, it's going to get pretty overwhelming. And then just the other few things that are here. Again, announcements will be posted here. Your grades. I use a point system, so it's pretty easy to keep up with your grade. There's some different tools and campus resources as far as like IT help and that type of thing. So the main thing best advice I can give you is if you have questions, please reach out. I don't have specific office hours in the summer. but I'm available by email. We can call, we can Zoom if you need any help. Again, just let me know, just reach out. And I hope you have a great time with this class and you learn a lot.